All right, let's talk about something that's so important, but is often left in the shadows. Your legal rights when it comes to mental health care. And look, this isn't just about dusty law books and regulations. This is about power. It's about dignity. It's about making sure that you, the person, are always at the very center of your own care. So let's get into it.
Seriously, think about that for a second. When you or someone you love is at their most vulnerable, really struggling, what's standing between you and the possibility of neglect or mistreatment? Who makes sure your voice is actually heard? Well, the answer is, or at least it should be, a powerful legal framework that's built specifically to protect you. And that's exactly what these laws are. They're a safety net. They exist for a really clear reason: to build this foundation of safety, of respect, and to create clear standards in a field where, let's be honest, people can be incredibly vulnerable. So, what does this safety net actually do? Well, three big things. First, it guarantees humane treatment. No ifs, ands, or buts. Second, it protects your autonomy, which is just a way of saying you stay in the driver's seat of your own life and your own decisions. And third, it regulates the whole system of care, setting out clear rules for everything. Now, in India, something pretty incredible has happened. There's been this huge shift in how the law even thinks about mental health. We've moved away from an old, kind of paternalistic idea of just protecting people to a whole new model that's all about genuine empowerment. And you can really see this when you compare the old law to the new one. I mean, it's night and day. The old 1987 Act, it was mostly about rules for institutions, the procedures for admission and treatment. But the 2017 Mental Health Care Act, it completely flipped the script. It's a rights-based law. The focus isn't on the system anymore. It's on you and your rights as a person. And if you want to see the heart of this new law, look no further than this. This was a massive, seismic shift. Attempted suicide is no longer a crime in India. Instead of someone in that much pain facing the legal system, the law now presumes they are in severe distress and need care and support. It's a total switch from prosecution to compassion. It's huge. Okay, so what does all this mean for you in a practical sense? Let's get into your toolkit. These are the specific, legally guaranteed rights that put you in charge of your own care. This is the stuff you really need to know. All right, so in your toolkit, you've got some major rights. You have the right to access care, especially from government-run services. Your privacy is protected. You have a right to confidentiality. You have the right to informed consent. That means nothing happens without you agreeing to it. You must be treated with dignity and without discrimination. The law also backs your right to live in the community, not locked away. And, absolutely crucial, you have the right to be free from any cruel or inhuman treatment. These aren't just suggestions. They're the law. Now, here is an incredibly powerful tool. It's called an advanced directive. It's basically a legal document you can create when you're well, where you spell out exactly how you want to be treated or not treated if you ever become unwell and can't communicate your wishes. It's your voice preserved for the future, making sure your choices are respected no matter what. And you don't have to go through any of this alone. The law also lets you appoint a nominated representative. This is a person you trust, that you choose, to help make decisions and defend your rights for you if you can't. Think of them as your legally recognized advocate, your chosen champion. Of course, rights on paper are one thing. You need people to uphold them. And this law places a massive responsibility on healthcare professionals, especially nurses, who are right there on the front lines. They are now legally required to be your ally. Nurses now have a legal compass to guide them. They must uphold your right to consent. They must protect your confidentiality. They have to document everything carefully to make sure there's accountability. And this is so important, they have a legal duty to be your advocate and to report any abuse or violation of your rights that they see. All these legal duties are really grounded in core ethical principles that have been around for a long time. But what the 2017 Act did was give them the force of law. So, respecting your autonomy, the duty to do good, the promise to do no harm, and the need for fairness, these aren't just nice ideas anymore. They are the legal pillars of mental health care in India.
Okay, so we have this world-class law in the books.
Fantastic. But how does that piece of paper turn into a real, lived experience for people every single day? Well, the Act actually builds in some mechanisms to make that happen.
One of the key safeguards is the creation of mental health review boards. These are independent groups that you can go to. If you feel like your rights are being ignored or violated, you can take your complaint to the board. It's basically the system's built-in accountability engine. The law also drills down into the nitty-gritty. It sets out really strict, rights-focused rules for every stage of your care. There are clear rules for when you choose to be admitted, very tough criteria for when someone else supports your admission, and legal guidelines to make sure that when you're discharged, it's done safely and responsibly. And that kind of brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? The Mental Health Care Act of 2017 is, on paper, amazing. It's progressive, it's humane, it's all about empowerment. The framework is there. But the question that's left for all of us, for patients, for families, for doctors, for all of society, is what's it going to take to make these rights a reality for every single person who needs them? Knowing what those rights are, well, that's the first, and maybe the most powerful step you can take.